Are you over 60 and noticing that no matter how well you eat or how many walks you take, your body just does not feel as strong as it used to? Maybe lifting groceries feels heavier, climbing stairs takes more effort, or you are losing definition in your arms and legs. Here is the truth. This is not just getting older. What you are experiencing could be sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. Now, here is the surprising part. Sarcopenia is not inevitable. It is not something you simply have to accept as part of aging. In fact, what research shows is that you can actually reverse this process. You can rebuild muscle even in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. And one of the simplest ways starts with something many of you are already drinking every morning, your coffee. But before I tell you exactly what to add to your coffee to protect and rebuild your muscles, let us take a moment to understand what is really going on inside your body. Because unless you know the why, the what will never truly make sense. Here is what happens as we age. Starting as early as our 40s, our bodies naturally begin to lose about 3 to 5% of muscle mass per decade. By the time you reach your 60s, this decline accelerates. The root cause is not just old age. It is a combination of changes in hormones, rising insulin resistance, increased inflammation, and decreased protein synthesis. In other words, your muscles are not receiving the signals or the raw materials they need to rebuild and stay strong. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your muscles like a house. In your 20s and 30s, the construction crew is working full-time, building, repairing, maintaining. But as you age, the crew starts showing up late, the tools get rusty, and the delivery trucks stop bringing enough building materials. So the house slowly falls apart. What we need to do is wake that construction crew back up, sharpen the tools, and make sure the right supplies are being delivered again. That is exactly what the right nutrition, lifestyle, and one very specific addition to your coffee can do. Why does this matter so much? Because muscle is not just about strength or appearance. Muscle is your metabolic engine. It is the tissue that burns glucose, protects your joints, supports your bones, and even communicates with your brain through signaling molecules called myokines. When you lose muscle, you do not just lose strength, you accelerate aging, increase your risk of diabetes, fall injuries, and cognitive decline. On the other hand, when you protect and rebuild muscle, you boost your metabolism, stabilize your energy, and extend your health span, the number of years you live strong, independent, and free from disease. So in this video, we are going to break down exactly how to reverse muscle loss after 60. I will show you 6 key science-backed strategies, including what to add to your coffee, how to optimize your nutrition, and the daily habits that literally tell your body to switch back on its muscle-building machinery. And if you're serious about staying strong, lean, and energized well into your later decades, you are going to want to stick with me through the end. Because the truth is, your age does not have to define your strength. Your choices do. Here is what is really going on inside your body when you cross into your 60s. Most people think muscle just disappears because we are getting older. But the truth is much more precise and much more empowering. As you age, your body gradually becomes resistant to the very signals that once told your muscles to grow. This is called anabolic resistance. Think of it like your muscle cells becoming hard of hearing. In your 20s and 30s, when you ate protein, your muscles would hear that signal loud and clear and quickly turn it into new muscle fibers. But by the time you reach your 60s, those signals are muffled. The amino acids do not trigger the same response, and your muscle-building machinery slows down. Now add to that another problem. Insulin resistance. Your muscles are the largest storage site for glucose in your entire body. When you eat carbohydrates, insulin is supposed to shuttle that glucose into your muscles, where it can be burned for energy. But as insulin resistance sets in, that fuel no longer enters the muscle effectively. Instead, it lingers in your bloodstream, raising blood sugar, increasing fat storage, and leaving your muscles underfueled. To make matters worse, chronic inflammation creeps in with age. Inflammatory molecules, often driven by visceral fat around the belly, directly interfere with the pathways that build muscle. And on top of that, Hormones like testosterone, estrogen, and growth hormone naturally decline, reducing your body's ability to stimulate repair. So you can see how this becomes a perfect storm: weak signals, poor fuel delivery, chronic inflammation, and declining hormones. Together, these accelerate muscle loss far faster after 60 than at any earlier stage of life. Let me give you a simple analogy. Imagine your muscles are like a factory. In your younger years, the machines are new, the power supply is strong, and the workers are motivated. The factory produces strong muscle fibers around the clock. But with age, the machines rust, the power flickers, and the workers stop listening to the manager's instructions. Output drops. What we need to do is upgrade the machinery, restore the power, and retrain the workers. That is exactly what the strategies we are going to cover will do. Here is the key takeaway: muscle loss after 60 is not random. It is driven by specific metabolic changes that you can influence. By improving insulin sensitivity, lowering inflammation, and targeting anabolic resistance with the right nutrients, you can keep that factory running smoothly. And here's a natural call to action. If this breakdown is already clarifying for you and you want more simple, science-backed strategies like this, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you take control of your health naturally. In a moment, we are going to talk about the very specific nutrient your muscles are starving for, and how simply adding it to your morning coffee can begin to reverse anabolic resistance. Now that you understand why muscle loss accelerates after 60, let us get practical. The question becomes, what is the single most effective way to wake up those hard-of-hearing muscle cells and get them building again? The answer lies in one very specific nutrient: leucine. Leucine is an essential amino acid, part of the building blocks of protein, but it has a unique role that sets it apart. Think of leucine as the ignition key for your muscle engine. While other amino acids provide the bricks and mortar, leucine is the spark that tells your body, start construction. It activates a pathway in your muscle cells called mTOR, mechanistic target of rapamycin. mTOR is the switch that turns on protein synthesis, which is your body's ability to create new muscle fibers. Here is the problem. As you age, your leucine threshold, the amount needed to flip that mTOR switch, gets higher. In your 20s, just a small amount of leucine from food was enough. But after 60, your muscles need a bigger, louder signal. And most people, even if they are eating protein, are not reaching that threshold consistently. This is where your morning coffee becomes a powerful tool. By adding a leucine-rich protein source, such as whey protein isolate, collagen fortified with leucine, or even a specialized amino acid blend, you can send a direct, amplified signal to your muscles right when they are most ready to receive it. Why coffee? 2 reasons. First, coffee itself increases alertness and circulation, which helps deliver nutrients more effectively. Second, when you take in protein early in the day, you start a muscle-building rhythm that carries into the rest of your meals. Research shows that older adults who consume at least 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine per meal experience significantly greater muscle protein synthesis compared to those who fall short. Let me give you a visual analogy. Imagine your muscles are like a light bulb connected to a dimmer switch. In your younger years, even a small touch turns the light on brightly. But as you age, that dimmer gets harder to move. Leucine is the extra push that forces the switch fully on, lighting up your muscle machinery again. So what does this look like in practice? Here is a simple protocol. Add 1 scoop of whey protein isolate, ideally grass-fed and sugar-free, into your morning coffee or tea. Look for a serving that delivers at least 2.5 grams of leucine. Many high-quality whey proteins contain this amount naturally. If you prefer plant-based proteins, choose a blend fortified with extra leucine, since plant proteins tend to be lower in this key amino acid. For best results, consume it within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up, when your body is primed to absorb amino acids. By consistently hitting that leucine threshold, you overcome anabolic resistance. Flip the mTOR switch back on and give your muscles the raw materials and the spark they need to rebuild. And here is the real-world impact this simple daily ritual can dramatically slow or even reverse the loss of lean mass that drives frailty and weakness in older adults. In fact, Studies in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition have shown that older adults supplementing with leucine-rich protein experience significant improvements in muscle strength and size compared to those who did not. So, do not underestimate this step. Something as small as what you add to your morning coffee can determine whether your muscle factory is shutting down or powering back up. Next, we are going to talk about another critical factor when you eat your protein and why timing is just as important as quantity when it comes to preserving your strength after 60. So far, we have uncovered that your muscles after 60 are not just hungry for protein, they are hungry for the right signal, leucine, to flip on the switch of protein synthesis. But here is the next piece of the puzzle. It is not only what you eat, but when you eat it that matters just as much. Most people fall into a common trap. They eat a light breakfast, maybe toast, coffee, or fruit. Lunch might be a sandwich with some protein, but still moderate. Then dinner is the big meal of the day where most of the protein finally shows up, a piece of chicken, fish, or beef. That means your muscles go almost the entire day underfed and then get overloaded at night. The problem: your muscles cannot store up protein for later use the way your body can store fat or carbohydrates. Muscle protein synthesis is a use it or lose it process. If you do not hit that leucine threshold at each meal, your muscles simply do not switch on their repair and rebuilding mode. You miss opportunity after opportunity to protect your lean mass. Here's a whiteboard analogy. Picture your muscle building system like a light switch that automatically shuts off every 4 to 5 hours. Each time you eat enough protein, with sufficient leucine, you flip the switch back on. But if you miss a meal or fall short, that switch stays off. By evening, even a large dinner cannot make up for all those missed activations during the day. The research is very clear on this. Studies in older adults show that distributing protein evenly across the day, about 25 to 30 grams per meal, each with at least 2.5 grams of leucine, leads to significantly higher muscle protein synthesis than the traditional pattern of light breakfast, light lunch, heavy dinner. So what does this mean in practice? Here's a simple protocol you can start tomorrow. Breakfast: coffee with whey isolate or a leucine fortified protein. Add a handful of nuts or Greek yogurt if you prefer real food sources. Target at least 25 grams of protein. Lunch: a palm-sized portion of lean protein such as chicken, salmon, or lentils with quinoa. Again, aim for 25 to 30 grams. Dinner: keep protein steady. Do not just overload here. A similar palm-sized portion will be enough if you have been consistent all day. Optional evening snack: a small portion of casein protein or cottage cheese can provide a slow-release protein overnight to further support repair. By following this rhythm, you give your muscles 3 or 4 distinct activation signals throughout the day. Each one is like pressing the restart button on your muscle-building machinery. And here is something else fascinating. When you space protein evenly, your body also controls blood sugar more effectively. Instead of large spikes at dinner, you maintain steadier glucose throughout the day. That means less insulin resistance, less fat storage, and a healthier metabolism overall. Let me connect this back to real life. Imagine your muscles are like a battery that needs charging 3 times a day. If you only charge it once, the battery dies before the day is over. But if you charge it steadily, you stay fully powered. That is exactly how your muscle responds to protein timing. So remember, it is not just about total protein intake, it is about distribution. Get that right, and you give your body the daily rhythm it needs to keep building and protecting your lean muscle well into your 60s and beyond. If this is making sense so far, and you are starting to see how small, strategic changes can make a big difference, consider subscribing. I share content like this every day to help you take back control of your metabolism and aging process naturally. Now, we are going to shift gears and talk about movement, because without resistance training, even light, strategic movements, your muscles simply cannot respond to all this nutrition. And I will show you how to do it safely and effectively at any age. Up to this point, we have focused on nutrition, the signals and raw materials your muscles need to rebuild. But here's a critical truth Without movement, even the best diet will not fully protect your muscle. Why? Because muscle is a use it or lose it tissue. Your body is efficient. If you do not send the signal that muscle is needed, your body will break it down no matter how much protein you are eating. That is where resistance training comes in. Now, when I say resistance training, many people immediately picture heavy weights, sweaty gyms, and bodybuilders. But that is not what we are talking about here. Resistance training simply means creating tension in your muscles, making them work against some form of resistance. That could be dumbbells, resistance bands, bodyweight exercises, or even water bottles if that is what you have. Let me give you a whiteboard analogy. Think of your muscles like a car engine. Protein and leucine are the fuel, but resistance training is the spark plug. Without the spark, the fuel just sits there unused. The two must work together. What the research shows is remarkable. In a meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, older adults in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who engaged in resistance training just 2 to 3 times per week experienced significant gains in strength, muscle size, and physical function. Some even reverse sarcopenia entirely. Here is why. When you challenge your muscles with resistance, you create microscopic stress inside the fibers. Your body responds by repairing them stronger and thicker than before. At the same time, resistance training improves insulin sensitivity, meaning your muscles become better at absorbing glucose and nutrients. It also boosts the release of myokinase, signaling molecules that reduce inflammation and support brain health. So, what does this look like in practice? Here's a simple protocol you can start right at home, no fancy equipment required. 2 to 3 sessions per week of resistance training. Focus on compound movements that use multiple muscle groups. Squats, wall sits, push-ups, even against a counter, rows with bands, or step-ups onto a low platform. Start with just one set of 8 to 12 repetitions for each movement. Gradually increase to 2 or 3 sets as your strength improves. Prioritize form and control over weight. The goal is tension, not exhaustion. Pair these with a brisk walk or light cardio on alternate days to keep your circulation strong. If you are new to this, remember, light and consistent is better than heavy and sporadic. Even lifting a resistance band for 10 minutes can send a powerful signal to your body that muscle is needed and must be preserved. Think of it this way. Your muscles are like a retirement account. The more deposits you make, even small ones, the stronger your foundation becomes. Skipping deposits leads to decline, but steady contributions, even modest ones, create lasting strength. So if you want to reverse muscle loss after 60, nutrition will set the stage, but resistance training is the trigger that makes it happen. Together, they are the two sides of the same coin. Now, we are going to address something many people overlook: how poor sleep and stress hormones silently sabotage muscle health. Because if cortisol is elevated and sleep is broken, your muscle building machinery gets switched off, no matter how well you eat or train. We have talked about protein, leucine, timing, and resistance training. But here is a piece of the muscle puzzle that almost no one talks about. And yet it is one of the biggest reasons people over 60 continue to lose muscle, even when they are eating right and moving. That factor is cortisol, your primary stress hormone, and the way poor sleep amplifies its effects. Let me explain what is happening inside your body. Cortisol is designed as a survival hormone in small, natural amounts. It helps wake you up in the morning and gives you energy to handle challenges. But when cortisol stays elevated from chronic stress, blood sugar swings, or lack of deep sleep, it becomes catabolic. That means it literally breaks down tissue. And the first tissue it breaks down is muscle, because amino acids from muscle can be converted into glucose as an emergency fuel source. Now, combine that with poor sleep. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, a natural anabolic hormone that repairs and rebuilds muscle tissue. But if you are only getting shallow sleep or waking up multiple times at night, you blunt this release. That means less repair, less recovery, and a slower metabolism. Over time, your body shifts into a cycle of high cortisol, low growth hormone, and muscle breakdown. Here is a simple analogy. Think of your muscle like a bank account. During the day, you deposit protein and exercise. But at night, cortisol acts like a thief that sneaks in and withdraws your savings. If your sleep is broken and stress is high, you wake up the next day with less in the account, no matter how much you tried to save. So, how do we fix this? Here are some practical steps. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours of sleep with a consistent bedtime and wake-up time. Even a 30-minute improvement in sleep duration can significantly boost growth hormone release. Avoid heavy meals or alcohol late at night, since both disrupt deep sleep cycles. Limit blue light from phones or televisions in the hour before bed. Blue light suppresses melatonin, the hormone that signals your body to sleep. Try relaxation techniques like deep breathing, meditation, or even a short walk after dinner. These lower cortisol before bedtime. Support blood sugar stability by not going to bed hungry. A small protein-based snack, such as cottage cheese or a handful of nuts, can prevent overnight crashes that spike cortisol. The research backs this up strongly. A study in Sleep Medicine Reviews showed that sleep deprivation reduces muscle protein synthesis and increases cortisol, directly accelerating muscle loss. Another study in older adults found that those with consistent deep sleep had better muscle mass, strength, and overall metabolic health than those with irregular sleep patterns. So, do not underestimate this. Sleep is not just about rest. It is your body's nightly opportunity to rebuild. If you are constantly waking up tired, stressed, and achy, that is a sign your cortisol is too high and your repair systems are offline. Here's a natural call to action. If this is resonating with you and you want more practical strategies to optimize not just muscle, but energy, metabolism, and longevity, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you master your health naturally. Now we are going to explore something truly exciting, the cutting-edge science of natural compounds like creatine, omega-3 fatty acids, and polyphenols. These are not synthetic drugs. They are natural tools that enhance mitochondrial health inside your muscle cells and slow down aging at its root. We have covered protein, timing, movement, and the importance of sleep. Now let us talk about some of the most exciting advances in nutritional science, natural compounds that can directly support your muscle cells at the mitochondrial level. Here is why this matters. Your mitochondria are the tiny power plants inside your cells. They produce the energy that allows your muscles to contract, repair, and grow. As we age, mitochondria become less efficient, producing less energy and more oxidative stress. That means your muscles tire faster, recover slower, and gradually shrink. But research now shows that certain natural nutrients can protect and even rejuvenate mitochondria, restoring energy and slowing the loss of lean tissue. Let us walk through 3 of the most powerful examples. Number 1, creatine. Most people think of creatine as a bodybuilding supplement, but research in older adults tells a very different story. Creatine acts like a quick charge battery for your muscle cells, helping them rapidly recycle energy during activity. In a meta-analysis published in the Journal of Gerontology, older adults who took creatine in combination with resistance training gained significantly more muscle mass and strength than those who trained without it. Even without heavy exercise, creatine supplementation improved muscle energy reserves and reduced fatigue. A simple daily dose of 3 to 5 grams, taken with water or added to a protein shake, is both safe and effective for most people. Number 2, omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s, especially EPA and DHA from fish oil, have powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Remember, chronic inflammation is one of the main drivers of muscle breakdown after 60. In one study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, older adults who supplemented with omega-3 fatty acids increased their muscle protein synthesis response to amino acids and insulin. In simple terms, omega-3s made their muscles more sensitive to the signals to grow. A practical target is 1 to 2 grams per day of combined EPA and DHA, ideally from high-quality fish oil or algae-based supplements. Number 3, polyphenols. Polyphenols are plant compounds found in foods like blueberries, green tea, and pomegranates. They are powerful antioxidants, protecting your mitochondria from oxidative stress. but they also activate pathways like AMPK, which improve insulin sensitivity and energy metabolism. In clinical studies, older adults consuming polyphenol-rich foods showed better muscle endurance and recovery. A simple step you can take is to include a daily serving of deeply colored fruits and vegetables, berries, leafy greens, red cabbage, or green tea, as part of your muscle protecting plan. Let me give you a simple analogy to tie this all together. Think of your muscles like a fleet of cars. Protein and leucine are the fuel. Resistance training is the spark, sleep is the maintenance garage, but creatine, omega-3s, and polyphenols are like premium motor oil and high-efficiency parts that keep the engine running smoothly for decades. Without them, the engine runs, but it wears down faster. With them, it stays efficient and resilient. So here is a simple protocol you can consider. Add creatine 3 to 5 grams daily. Add omega-3 fatty acids 1 to 2 grams daily. Add polyphenol-rich foods 1 to 2 servings daily. These are not medications. They are natural tools that, when combined with the strategies we have already covered, can transform the way your muscles age. And remember, it is not about doing everything perfectly at once. Start with one addition, maybe creatine in your morning shake, or a daily handful of blueberries. Each small step you take builds momentum, and momentum is what protects your health span. Now let us bring everything together. In the conclusion, we will recap the main physiological insights, the practical takeaways, and I will give you one challenge to put this into action today. We have covered a lot of ground today, so let us bring it all together. Here is what is really happening inside your body after 60. Your muscles are not vanishing because of old age. They are fading because of anabolic resistance, insulin resistance, inflammation, poor recovery, and declining mitochondrial function. The good news is that every single one of these processes can be influenced by the choices you make each day. Let us recap the 6 strategies we covered. Number 1, understand the real root causes of muscle loss: anabolic resistance, insulin resistance, inflammation, and hormone decline. Knowledge gives you power. Number 2, add leucine-rich protein to your morning coffee. This flips on your muscle-building machinery when your body is most ready to receive it. Number 3, spread protein intake evenly across your day, aiming for 25 to 30 grams per meal, so your muscle-building switch gets flipped multiple times. Number 4, incorporate resistance training 2 to 3 times per week. Even light, consistent effort tells your body muscle is needed and must be preserved. Number 5, protect your sleep and manage stress. Cortisol tears muscle down, but deep sleep rebuilds it. Your nights are just as important as your days. Number 6, support your mitochondria with natural compounds like creatine, omega-3s, and polyphenols. These are the high-efficiency parts that keep your muscle engine running strong. Here is why this matters. Muscle is not just about strength or appearance. Muscle is your metabolic engine. It burns glucose, protects your bones, stabilizes your joints, improves insulin sensitivity, and even sends healing signals to your brain. Protecting your muscle is protecting your metabolism, your independence, and your longevity. Let me give you one last analogy. Think of your muscle as the foundation of your house. If the foundation is strong, the whole structure stands tall for decades. If the foundation crumbles, everything else becomes fragile. Your nutrition, your movement, your sleep, and these natural compounds, they are the reinforcements that keep your foundation solid. So here is my challenge to you. Choose one step from today's video and start it right away. Maybe it is adding leucine to your morning coffee. Maybe it is aiming for 25 grams of protein at lunch. Maybe it is walking into your living room right now and doing 10 squats. Do not wait for the perfect plan. Just begin. Your muscles will respond faster than you think. And if you want to go deeper, come back to this video, rewatch the strategies, and pick up a second or third step next week. Small, consistent action creates transformation. If this added value for you, I would love for you to like this video and subscribe so you can join a growing community of people who are optimizing their health naturally, not with quick fixes, but with real evidence-based strategies that work. Because remember, age does not define your strength. Your choices do. And every single day, you have the opportunity to choose strength, energy, and longevity.